Habibis, there's only one man in the 20th century who I can think of who really deserves to be called the greatest. A man whose championships were eclipsed only by his moral ground. A man who had the heart of a lion, who never backed down from a fight except when it meant killing innocent lives. A man who fell down and got back up more than I can think of, literally and figuratively. A man whose 79th birthday would have been yesterday. This video is about Muhammad Ali.
I must be the greatest. I am the king of the world.
Now, it's almost unfair to talk about someone as great as Muhammad Ali in a 2 to 3 minute video, but the reason I insisted on making this video today is because the lessons that he's given us deserve to be recounted again and again and again. And on his 79th birthday occasion, I felt like it was a perfect opportunity for me to remind us of some of these lessons. Now, to set the scene, this is a man who was born in segregated Kentucky. And just as a reminder, that meant that he literally couldn't do anything that white people did. He couldn't ride the same buses. He couldn't go to the same places. He couldn't drink from the same fountains. And that's, like, to put it very mildly. Everything that was happening during that time is stuff that we honestly could not even comprehend unless we lived through it. It was a time when people who spoke out, they got killed in an incredibly difficult period of time to be who he was. But he defied all odds. And despite that, he didn't like that he was born with a slave name, and he decided to change his name. And he went from Cassius Clay to Muhammad Ali. And he said it to the world loud and clear.
Muhammad Ali, right? Muhammad Ali. That's my name.
I'm Muslim. At a time when Islamophobia was just as rampant as it is today. And the reason I love and admire him so much is because his moral ground always led the way, no matter what was at stake. When he was drafted to go and fight a war against people who he knew were innocent lives, in a war that disproportionately killed minorities, especially black people, he said no. And he put everything that he's ever fought for on the line just because it was the right thing to do. Do you guys get that? Like, he literally spent his whole life trying to become champion, trying to become the greatest of all time, trying to become the king of the world, all that stuff that we know about Muhammad Ali, and he put it all on the line just because it was the right thing to do. No hesitation. His moral ground was just incredible. And by the way, contrary to popular belief, at the time, it wasn't cool to be against Vietnam. He was really early on, and that cost him everything. It cost him his title, it cost him his fans. He was vilified, he was hated, he was despised by a lot of people in popular media in the very beginning. The jury deliberated for 30 minutes, and came out with a guilty verdict and sentenced him to prison, and everything that he ever had was stripped away from him, especially his title. But more often than not, when you are doing the right thing, God or the world or whatever you believe in has a way of making things right, and that's exactly what happened with him. 3.5 years later, the Supreme Court unanimously overturned his conviction, and he got out of prison, and he started everything from scratch. 3.5 years without proper fighting, without proper workouts, without proper food, without running, without gyms, without anything. 3.5 years after people canceled him, vilified him, put him down, and wanted him to stay down, he got back up again, and he regained everything that was justifiably his, and taking back that title. Like, that's just remarkable. And the reason I wanted to tell you about this today is because Muhammad Ali is a person who lived his whole life and died by one principle. He wasn't going to live in a world that was given to him, and he was going to make sure to create his own. That's what it's all about. That's what I'm all about. And that's why I'm telling you about him, the greatest of all time. That's it for today, Habibis. It's one life. Live it right and learn a thing of two from Muhammad Ali. Honestly, like, I could talk about this for literally days. This doesn't do him justice in 2 minutes. Just remember that your moral ground is more important than anything else. Anyway, happy birthday, King. Peace.